welcome everybody to Ignite Humanity Live, and guess what? I'm your host, Lady JB, and I'm here to talk about ways that we can ignite humanity. That's right, we want to have some fun with it because, well, it's not serious business, but it's serious in the sense that we all want to think about what's going on with our future and how can we make decisions today that is going to impact the world to come. And we want to think about ways that we can create positivity and benefits and access for everyone to be living in the center of what's possible for them. I love this idea. If each and every one of us was doing what we dreamed of and we loved life and we were feeling that inner connection with self and with spirit and with nature, imagine the world we would live in. And it is possible, folks. And my guests on the show are talking about ways that you can ignite humanity, starting with you. It starts with you and then it grows. You ignite somebody and they ignite somebody and they ignite somebody else. And soon enough, we are igniting people around the globe. And that's the vibration of what we need to be focused on. And that's what we're talking about here today. How can you ignite humanity in your life with the little things that you do that create the ripple effect? And one of the ways we do that is by connecting with one another on an authentic level. How do we do that? By stories. Since the beginning of time, we've been telling stories around the campfire, and people have felt more connected and more a part of a tribe by hearing the stories of their elders, hearing the stories of tenacity and perseverance. It's our stories that make us feel connected, and stories are going to ignite our lives. When I tell you a story, you know more about me. And when our guests share their stories, you connect with them on a deeper level. That level of connection is what is going to end wars and end racism and end all prejudice. Because what we're going to realize is that we have similar stories despite the color of our skin, despite where we live or the language that we use. If we can ignite humanity, we can make the future better for all of us. And imagine the place that we can live in for our children and our children's children. And so today's show is actually all about creating the future for each and every one of us. And we want you to have the best future possible. And guess what? You have the hand on the reins and you can make it happen. So we're welcoming our guest today, Jeremy Hoffman, who is a impact entrepreneur. Is that's true?
It is, yes.
All right. I love it.
I
love it. Impact entrepreneur. And I love that word impact. That's one of my favorite words. Empowerment, impact. What does it mean for you to really create impact?
So for me, impact, and why even impact entrepreneurs, you can be a serial entrepreneur. What I've seen serial entrepreneurs do win-lose metrics because it's about creating more companies. It's not as much about the impact. And for me, I wanted to put profit and impact with each other. And so impact is the leadership inside of the company. It's the values of the company. It's who we're impacting through our content, through our messages, through our initiatives, and even through our investments. Like, how is our energy, how are our values being integrated into all that we say and do so that impact is igniting those all around us.
I love that. Thanks for using my word. Here's the thing. Impact is actually a currency of its own. I mean, a lot of us are measuring impact. We're thinking about, well, how much dollars can we donate? How much money can we put in? How much funds can we funnel into the system? But the truth is impact, and I'm with you when it comes to impact. Impact has a far greater sort of longevity, multiplication aspect to it. Again, I really appreciate using the word impact. Let's think about our viewers. How can they create more impact?
Yeah, and what I had just said even before, it's impact for me comes with understanding the values. Because at least how I see it is, before we can create that impact, we need to know in which direction we're going.
Okay.
And so for me, that comes down to understanding what it is that we value. And so for an example is, for everyone in the audience, is understanding what it is that you value in your life. Because let's say you value connection. Well, if you value connection, then how in your immediate home, families, communities, relationships, can you create more connection? And impact becomes the measure, the metric of that value, because you can tangibly see the depth or the intimacy that you're experiencing in your relationships through the impact that you're making in your localized group or community. So for me, it's really understanding your values and what it is that it's important to you, and then starting to take action, making those phone calls, calling your grandmother, spending that time with your mom. Again, the impact is the action, but before that action, again, it comes down to, for me, what it is in which you value. and then the action that it takes to make that actualized.
That's really important because you can create impact in a negative way. You can create impact in a way that has a ripple effect of not positivity. And so value, if you have the value of honesty or authenticity or kindness or caring, then I'm assuming you infiltrate that value into your impact, making sure that that's the impact that you get.
Exactly.
Imagine the people who are feeling like, I can't make any impact. I don't know how to make impact. What would you say to that?
Yeah, it's something really cool that I've been speaking on is anyone can make an impact. Again, it coming down to their values. And I did a presentation a little while ago, and it was talking about the difference between a lawyer, an entrepreneur, and a Starbucks barista.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, so let's say all of them valued connection as a value that was important to them. All of them in their current job or career landscapes could create more connection, very simply. And so the impact is being able to take action in which you value. So the Starbucks barista who values connection, she can put more effort into her customers, into the work environment. She can bring more depth, more intimacy, more eye contact, more smiles into the relationship. Same with the lawyer. He could be feeling isolated, but how often is he going outside of his comfort zone to do something that would, bring about that feeling of connection with others in his office? Same with the entrepreneur who feels lonely at times because they're not, they're always busy and always working. How could they instill connection? So really it comes down to knowing what you value and then taking action in that direction. So if you're feeling like you don't know how to start taking impact, I encourage you to revisit what it is that you value and then write down a couple notes on how you could actualize that into your daily life. Again, the barista could be smiling or actually caring what the person is. When you say, hey, how was your day today?
You really listen.
Listening to what they're saying, not just autopilot. It could just be that simple shift. So that for me is, taking that action step. But again, it always comes down to the value. So impact, knowing what you value and then taking action forward.
Well, action is a big thing because a lot of people talk about, I want to make impact, I want to make impact, I want to make impact, but you don't really see them doing a lot. And yet there are other people who want to they're doing a lot of things, but they're not actually making the impact. Is there a way for you to help our viewers think about how do I bring together my desire for impact and then my actions that might be not getting me there? How can we align the two?
Yeah, well, desire and, the want is such an interesting, threshold or ravine to cross. And something that came up as you were sharing that is we can also get lost in the wanting to create this impact instead of realizing that everything is as it needs to be all of the time.
Beautiful.
It doesn't have to be, when we're talking about action, it could be looked at a very masculine, like do. But I like to bring in the feminine of, being able to receive and calling that in and nurturing that as well. But to still get up and to open the door in order to create opportunities for yourself. But the desire to create impact, that comes down to, do you actually want to feel, live a better life that is lighting you up, that is igniting you and those around you? And if the answer is yes, I believe that people will create those steps for themselves, or they will hit a place in their life, some might call it like a rock bottom, where they just say, hey, this hasn't been working for me. I'm going to have to do something different. And sometimes this takes an end of a relationship or being fired from a job, or sometimes in some cases an accident, if it has to get that extreme, for someone to say, all right, I'm willing to put in the work. I'm willing to, listen to this desire that I've been feeling and actually show up to doing it. But we can't force that. It seems to be a very unique process in every individual, a certain moment that they hit where they say, I will put in the work.
Right.
I
what
desire
is that moment?
that ignite moment. But that it's true.
Right.
It is really true. Through the years of coaching too, it's like someone isn't going to change until they want to change. We can help facilitate. We can help support them on their journey. But until they're ready to actually change, they're not going to do it.
And I think a lot of people go through that because they'll see somebody else changing or they'll see something over and over and over again. And then there's just that moment, that flick of the switch. A lot of people think change, change that's fundamentally working with you and you practice does take time. But there are those moments where you can literally flick the switch and change. And I've talked a lot about that with my clients, where they'll say, it takes so long to change. And I sometimes say, yes, but why can't it just be that I've decided I'm no longer ever going to do that, or I've decided from this moment on it's going to be different. That for me is really the ignite moment, where people decide that they're going to change, and then yet keeping that change and moving in that trajectory, that's what takes the time. It's not the decision, it's the execution potentially.
Yeah, I like to say that life can be simple, but that doesn't make it easy.
Yeah, amen.
It's like, you know, and if you're in a toxic relationship, and I understand there could be aspects of trauma bonding and all kinds of different things associated with this, the decision to leave is simple. That doesn't make it easy to do.
Right.
Right? It's similar. Those moments, you have these aha moments, these ignite moments, these downloads, these incredible moments that can radically change your life. I call it like, I went through the same thing. I was doing traveling and going to retreats, and you know, there was someone going through a huge process, and I said, man, I hear you, I feel you, and just remember that, like, you're writing the story of your life. It's a book, and you can turn the page. Like, today is a new chapter in the book. It's a new page in the book, and you can turn that page and continue to write whatever it is. And, you know, at the biological level, we are producing new cells every minute, millions of them. And so we are literally writing that from a cell level every moment of every day. And so whenever I feel like I'm getting to that place, just remember, without bypassing, with still allowing myself to feel, we can turn the page.
We can.
And we can continue to write the story that, you know, puts us
right,
where
and we
wanna
write
go.
the story with new knowledge and new awareness and new skills and new talents. I mean, you and I probably can equally agree, no such thing as fail. No such thing as, you know, it was, I mean, maybe it was a disaster in that it fell apart, but it wasn't a failure. And I think that's a big thing for people who feel like impact is a black or white thing. And that failure piece is actually that learning tool that we need to strengthen the muscles, to make the adaptations, to pivot, to get to the impact. And even more so, the journey is pretty darn exciting.
Yeah, and even talking about solutions, right? As we're talking about solutions, it's incredible that the solution isn't perfect either. When we talk about creating solutions in our lives or for the world, there's going to be mishaps or failing forwards or learning experiences, however we want to coin it, but all of those are still part of that process. They're part of that solution in our lives or in our communities or even in the world. We're not perfect.
Thanks for keeping me on task. I could take a rest now. I mean, today is about solutions. I appreciate that so much. And you are a solution-oriented person. You work with a lot of companies. You bring a lot of things forward. You like to be in the realm of solutions. What helped you get there? What was the thing in your life that propelled you forward?
Yeah, there was a distinct moment for me, and it was in Costa Rica in 2018. And what I started to understand is that many people in the world have a victim consciousness. And like the turning of the page, we can go from victim to victor. That's simple.
So true.
It's really that simple. And then a phrase came with that is, everything is happening for me, not to me.
Right.
So that means that everything is happening in your life, in my life, is happening for me as an opportunity to learn from and to grow from. And that puts me automatically into a state where I'm looking for the solution. When I'm not the victim to what's happening, woe is me, and I get stuck in the story of the problem, I'm automatically going, this is happening for me. What can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? And how am I going to create that solution? So for me, to answer the other part to that question,
it's a great answer.
It's again, going back to the values, I really harp on it a lot, but when I'm looking at the solutions, I know what I value. I know that everything's happening for me. I know why I'm here on this earth. I know what I'm here to cultivate and to bring forward for humanity. And so my mind is just in solutions. It's in creating solutions for my life, for my friends, for my families, for my companies. And when problems and challenges come up, which is inevitable.
Absolutely.
Always. Yeah.
And yet, it'd be like, okay, it's for my highest good. I remember Bob Proctor talking about everything is for your highest good. And I actually heard him say that sentence many times, but there was one day where it just hit home so much harder than before, that everything that happens is for my highest good, really grokking into that was like, wow, everything that is happening for my highest good. And maybe it doesn't look that way at this exact moment, but if we're really believing in the power of what we can create, we know it's unfolding.
Yeah. And I didn't know it's interesting. I didn't know Bob Proctor at this time. I ended up learning about him more recently. Knowing that statement, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. You know, someone before. And what was interesting for me, because in my mind and in my experience, I go, oh, when a great moment is happening, obviously it's happening for me. Right. But then when an unpreferred moment, you know, my wife's leaving me or a business is failing, I'm in the story of the pain or potentially the victim of like, woe is me, how could this happen to me? But those moments from a universal or from an energetic perspective is just another moment of time. You know those images where you have your town and you zoom out all the way into space and it has that little arrow and it's like, you are here in the cosmos right now and you're like, oh, wow. And so it's just another moment of time. It is us who is judging that moment to be good or not good.
Right, we're labeling it.
That's it. So if it's an experience that I'm having, and I can learn from it no matter what, even if it's bringing up pain, even if it's bringing up grief as a loved one dies or whatever it may be, there's still beauty. There's still, so much to learn.
Essence to it, right?
And we're here to live life, which means not just joy and happiness. We can bring that in and positivity, but there's going to be moments that are challenging. And I find those are quite beautiful as well.
And I always say being a human is actually feeling every emotion. I make a joke, we're come to this earth pinned with a list of emotions to our birthday suit. And we get the experience of feeling all those things. Otherwise, we're robotic. So we get to feel betrayal and disappointment and lack or blame or all the things, joy, love, and happiness. But the essence of feeling all those things is really what makes us human. And what you just said, it's for us. It's for us. We wouldn't know joy if we didn't have disappointment. We wouldn't feel love if we didn't feel betrayal. They're all sort of the counterbalance of each other to make us really have this human experience.
Yeah. And it's such a beautiful, the polarity that exists, the duality that exists in the human experience to allow us those opportunities for that full range. I think that's why we're here. It's a big part of why we're here. I know that. Right.
And then to your point, we get to choose the values. We get to choose the emotions that we value. So I value honesty over betrayal. I value friendship over dissension. So we get to value what's most important to us. And that helps us start to align our lives in a way that we really are the makers of our own existence.
Yeah. And bringing it into the impact and the solution aspect, when people are feeling stuck, if they're feeling stuck in their lives, usually we feel unwell. We'll just label it as unwell as a whole when we're not living in alignment with those values. So if we value friendship and we're being, a poor friend, we're not going to feel good. If we value honesty, we say that we value honesty and we're being dishonest, there's a good chance that you're not going to feel good. Yeah. But when you value honesty and you do your best, we're not perfect, but you do your best to be honest in all you do, I almost guarantee you, you're gonna feel more honest. You're gonna feel better about yourself. You're gonna feel better about your relationships and your business.
And just because we like to play both ends of the spectrum, when you see things in other people that you feel judgment towards, I often always ask myself, well, why am I judging that person? Because if I witness it in them, there must be some little part of me that still has some residual around that. And so the things that you see in others, you also have potentially you can see in yourself.
Yeah, it's the reflection.
Right.
That's been a huge thing for me. I noticed growing up that I was actually quite judgmental. And being able to reprogram, realizing that, when someone steps into the room and I'm like, oh, there's ego there. I'm like, oh, is that my ego? Noticing the ego over there? That's how I noticed there's always a reflection, even with the honesty. And sometimes you may notice someone being dishonest and you may not be dishonest, but there's still something for you to look at in your life to say, am I being fully honest?
Right.
It's like a self-check.
And, or I'm noticing dishonesty, for example, over there. And what I'm realizing is I'm noticing in a way that I too can have compassion for that person because they have not come to a place potentially where that is something that they are using to correct in their life or use to create their own other experience or their journey. Because we're all going to go through those human emotions pinned to our birthday suit. And we get to decide if we keep them, if we let go of them, if we decided I've had enough of that and move on. Going back to the idea of we are the leaders of our story, we can turn the page. Because if we have dishonesty or any of those negative emotions, we can say, time to turn the page. Here's the new chapter of my life.
Yeah. Every day, every minute.
Isn't it true?
It is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a volume, right? There's like a whole library of the chapters we can write.
Think about how, you come from the world of publishing and writing, and think about how many words we speak every day, how many books are being spoken every day, and how that creates our realities, right? We say spelling in our language or speaking. These are speaking things into existence.
Isn't it true? I tell people, when you put your hand in front of your mouth, you feel the breath on words. And when you say hate, there's a lot of energy that goes towards your hand. And that's going out to the universe. And I know you love to talk about quantum. We haven't even jumped into that. But there's this force field. There's this essence that even our words put out into the universe, and I can versus I can't, I will. I always tell people like, I can is like the size of a soup can. You're way more than that.
That's a good one.
Right?
One that I'm always working on is I get to instead of I have to. So like I get to go on to this incredible show with you.
Thank you.
I don't have to.
No.
I get to.
Yeah.
And I get to fuel my car with gas, or I get to go for food, or I get to, all of these things, because so often, in text messages in the world, I'm like, okay, have to go do this real quick.
Yeah.
No, and I found that by getting to do things, we're going into that state of gratitude.
I actually wrote something in a book that I did for another client where I said, I get to throw back the covers every morning. I get to get up every day, And it changes the way you wake up in the morning when you say, I get to jump into today. I get to throw back the covers, because so many of us are starting our day already in really low vibration. I have to get up. I want to turn off the alarm. I'm so tired. And that's really not the best way to start the day. And so solution, I get to throw back the covers and start today.
Yeah, and the solutions can be that simple. Again,
right.
I know one of the reasons I'm on earth is to help simplify these things in life that we as humans can make really quite complicated. But coming down to, the discipline, as we mentioned too, the solutions can be easy as long as you're willing to make the choice.
So you're young, and you probably have people in your generation and in my generation who are going to ask this question: how did you know that you get to do this on earth? You just said that sentence, so powerful. How did you get to know that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So through the course of my life, I was raised Christian, homeschooled, didn't go to school, was able to start helping my father manage his business at a really young age, and taught me a lot of life. Like, life has always been my teacher. And through a series of very wild and epic events that maybe one day we'll go into deeper in a long form. But, I had about 5 to 6 years that felt like lifetimes of experience that even looking back on it now, I'm like, whoa, like one day there's going to be a book or a movie or something on this. And I couldn't explain why all these things had happened. I didn't feel like I consciously chose it. It just seemed like it was really happening
for you.
For me, but in those moments,
Not quite, right?
It really didn't quite feel like that.
But now you can look back on that.
Now I can look back on it. And there was a moment again, 2017, 2018, where it became so clear that all of those experiences happened for me. And also, I'm here to create products, businesses, programs, to educate, to share, to support other people that may be going through similar aspects of that journey. And since then, it's been so clear that I get to wake up every day. I get to create the life. And it wasn't easy. I had a wife who left. I had a house. I sold, went all in on building my dream life. My dream reality was created not from anything other than my own hard work and choosing to do it. Simple, not easy. But there's just been so many distinct moments of profound clarity, those ignite moments in my journey that you are here to create these solutions for humanity. Are you willing to continue to show up? And I have. And it's brought me on a really epic and wild journey. So yeah, there's just been a knowingness. And then, there could be moments where I feel like I have to do this, and I just recheck myself. I'm like, I get to do this. Mm-hmm. So I keep coming back to that, and I keep coming back to that in which I value, to hold myself accountable.
Beautiful. Well, I won't be cliche, but I will. The journey has just begun. Every single day, the journey has just begun. Yes. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it so much. Great wisdom, very profound, and really, truly love and appreciate you.
Love you, JB.
Well, as you can see, there are so many ways that you can dive into igniting humanity, and you can do it by really assessing your values. What matters to you? What is important to you? What is it that you want to do? And then really attaching emotions, those powerful emotions that you are most connected to, that allow you to push forward and be excited about throwing back the covers and starting each and every day. You get to have a choice in how you show up, and you can just turn the page and decide, I'm going to write a new chapter. I'm going to create a new volume. I'm going to write a new book on exactly how I want to be. And I'm asking you to make sure that that's including others and allowing others to be who they are so that you can be who you are. And that's going to ignite humanity. These books, these chapters, the essence of each and every one of us coming into our true fruition is what really is going to give us the gifts that we need to make a difference on the planet in a big way, in a way that's sustainable for each and every one of us and lasts for generations to come. I truly appreciate all my guests for showing up. They give us so much wisdom, and I hope today you've had lots to think about. If you want to watch this episode again, please go to ignitehumanity.life/watch, and you can see exactly what Jeremy shared and or witness any one of our legends, our amazing guests, our authors, the people who show up. They're here for you to watch their episode over and over again on our platform. It's all free to you. All you have to do is sign up, and we want to make it absolutely accessible. We don't ever charge you or market you or anything. It's my gift to you. It's my way of igniting humanity, and I'm so happy to give it to you, so please take advantage of it. Now, if you want to be a part of igniting a child's life, we'd love for you to go to ignitehumanity.life/donate, where we are building schools in third world countries to help ignite literacy. Every single dollar you give goes towards our charity, and it helps build bricks. Now, these bricks are made from recycled plastic, so we're doing another win-win situation by pulling plastic out of the landfill, using bricks to build schools, now igniting children's lives. You can be a part of that. Just $1 buys a brick, and so why not buy as many as possible? Go to ignitehumanity.life/donate, and you can be a part of building our schools. If you've got a great story to share and you've been ignited in a certain way and you're doing something for humanity, tell us about it at ignitehumanity.life/share, and you could be a guest on our show. We'd love to have you. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing to make an impact on the planet. Be profound and be inspiring and show impact with others with your story, or even someone else's story that you know. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll reach out to them on your behalf. Now, of course, ignitehumanity.life is our website where we're talking about everything that we're doing. So if you head on over there, you'll get all the details and you'll learn more about what we're up to. We're here Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time every single day. So you can watch us wherever you are and see how you can decide to ignite humanity for the good of all. All right, I'm Lady JB. Take care, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Now, more than ever, we need to come together to connect with one another. We need to feel the truth in who we are and let go of everything that's happened in the past. We need to empower every person on the planet and awaken hearts, enliven souls, come together, laugh, play, rejoice, connect, create, and love. It's time to ignite humanity. We want you to be a part of something that will impact the future for everyone. We want you to tell your story, share your Ignite moment, show people who you truly are. Be a part of igniting humanity and making a difference in the world and all of our futures.